Welcome back to another warm-up show with the hockey coach, Coach Frenchy, directly from the beautiful country of Thailand. And we have to go all the way to Toronto to find a co-host. Sit down the downtown, and this caveman in the basement waiting for the snow falling apart beside the house and waiting for Danny to be in the somewhere to clean up the snow around Orleans. Welcome back, Mr. ENORTAP.
Hello, Coach. Hello, Hockey Nation. That's very dramatic entrance, Coach. I kind of like that. Yeah.
First day of the month of the love, because it's February 2023. We'll come back for everybody to be a part of the warm-up show. We have a couple of things we want to mention at the beginning of the show, so be sure we put everything, because people say, wait a minute, over our head right there, they have the same stat we did the last time, and I want to clarify this situation. So I will let the master and the GOAT of all the prediction he does every single night. And then, of course, we have a meeting with the verification Smith and Deloitte to be sure we can do this. First of all, we submit this, they look about this, they check the rule, they bring back and forth with a lawyer. Well, it's too complicated to talk too much about Deloitte Smith, but at the end of the day, Mr. ENORTAP, you finally find an agreement about this situation for this week.
Yeah, we did get a verification, but first I need to correct you, because maybe you're in the first day of February. We're still in January 31st.
Yeah, absolutely right about that.
We're waiting.
Yeah, absolutely right. I have 12 hours. You're going to get there, by the way. So I go to send you all the love through to Thailand, to the North America.
I think now I understand why you're doing so well in your predictions. You're already 12 hours ahead of us. So
I see the game before you guys see the game.
Exactly. Oh man. Yeah, so what we decided to do is, since yesterday there was only one game, today there's three, tomorrow there's 2 games going on. We decided to combine all of them, so that way we do have an opportunity to send some lucky people on the bus and one or more unfortunate people back to jail. So what you can do for us, which would be very beneficial, is we're going to talk about the remaining 5 games that are going on between today and tomorrow on the show today. And if you can send us your predictions for all 5 games, which are today's and tomorrow's.
Or they can send a check for tonight and then send tomorrow, of course. So if more complicated, but it could work this way.
Yeah, absolutely. If you want to wait for the last 2 games until tomorrow, that's fine too.
Because Carolina plays tonight, by the way. I just want to mention that.
Back to back, yeah. They got a back to back, and it's a big game tomorrow as well against the Buffalo Sabres. So, so that's that'll be it for.
So the moral of this statement you just mentioned to you, after I spoke with Yamo, he said, look, and I thought try to win better the another way. So this is another excuse you want to bring around. Say, you know what, I'm going to go only one time out together, so maybe a possibility to, pass both of them that way. So I think that's we understand. We are agreeing anyway. It's not a big deal, but that's the statement you try to bring around the table. But be careful, Rick Bengal watch everything, and he's going to tell, well, I've been to the bus recently, so be careful.
Yes.
Be careful.
Rick's my man. Rick's my man. He gives me tips all the time.
Talking about Rick Bengal, welcome aboard. Mr. Rick Bengal is in the house, Mr. ENORTAP.
Welcome, Rick.
The reporter live from Halifax, and Mr. Rick is really knowledgeable about business and hockey, so I like talking about him. He left great comments on my video yesterday or 2 days ago about Bettman. Gary Bettman celebrate 30 years in NHL. We're going to talk about him a little bit later, not today, but another time. We have Mr. Johnny Alf is in the house. Welcome, Johnny. So RIP Bobby Hall, the Golden Jet, first hockey player to earn $1 million. You're absolutely right, Johnny. First of all, thanks to be with our Canadian show. I think it's the first time at the warm-up. If you are, welcome in the family. If not, welcome back. Subscribe And please sharing this, click on the likes if you don't mind. That'd be great. And the reason I put Bobby Hall between both of us, first of all, yes, he passed away at 84. And but I have but I have another story, Mr. Nota. But let's start with Bobby Hall. The reason I put him because those jersey, it was one of my favorite jersey colors and everything with Hellberg and Nilsson. And then when I saw that picture yesterday, I said, "Oh my God, this remind me a long time ago." I can remember I was playing on the backyards or play behind the school outside, of course, wearing my Winnipeg Jet because it was not Bobby Hall, it was Della Workshop. You have three players for me make an impact in my life about hockey. It was more guided by my dad, but it was Guy Lafleur, Michael Bossy, and Della Workshop. Before we go with Mario Lemieux after that. But they are the three really making an impact. So I was wear a Winnipeg Jet jersey, Montreal Canadiens, and New York Islanders. Yeah, so I just want to mention this. But talking about Bobby Hall, because he passed away yesterday, we talk about Terry Harper, Mr. Nortap. Yesterday with the French quiz, everything like that. If you missed this guy, I would suggest you to watching the French quiz last night. I think people have a great time talking about the story about Terry Harper. First of all, I make a mistake. When he fight in the penalty box and he split the box, I want to give this the thanks to Rudolph. It was not Codenbach. It was Bilford. Bob Bilford. It was the one fight with Terry Harper. So I just want to mention that correction. But the second thing, Mr. Natap, is funny. I was listening a podcast yesterday, and during the podcast, they talk about Terry Harper.
No, really?
Do you know how old is he? He's 83 years old.
I was about to say, he's got to be in his 80s. Yeah.
You have every year, they have a tournament in Edmonton. But you don't believe it. He is play hockey right now in Edmonton at the hockey tournament. He played one time per week at the Roseville, California, and play hockey still at 83 years old. Man, he looked like he play only backwards. But still at the end of the day, he's still skating, guys, and play hockey at 83 years old. And this reminds me a lot. I always said the only sport you can play until you're going to die is hockey. Whatever it is. So I just want to, it's funny, it's all the coincidence all together yesterday. So I heard that about Terry Harper, 83 years old, ladies and gentlemen, still play hockey. Unbelievable to see that. It's real. You can see on the podcast at Frank, and then, So I just want to share this. This is my story about Terry Harper.
Is he still fighting in the penalty box?
No, he removed his glove now. He's just not about this over there like that. And then the guy said, I'm very happy right now. I just dinkle him and go around him. And I can tell my friend now I passed a winner of the 5 Stanley Cup during my hockey career about that one over there. But he never said he was 83 years old. But that's another subject for another time. Jeffrey is in the house from Taiwan.
Hey, Jeffrey. Welcome.
And Yamo Vartanen knocked the door, Mr. Nortap.
How's it going, Yermo? Moi, moi.
Chicago Bear, Mr. Nortap, is back in the house. We talk about Rick Bengal. What about the Captain K, Mr. Nortap? He's in the house.
Hey, Ryan, how's it going?
And Drew said it's minus 22 in Fredericton, New Brunswick, looking warm up right now. Minus 22 is not easy. And what about RJ Calabro, Mr. Nortap?
Hey, RJ.
He's driving right now. He's on the highway, just past the car on his right side, go back to the left, coming back on the middle. And now he's maybe go to the right, depends. The woman decide another car, but that's not a subject for another time. Dixon Automotive Group is in the house.
Welcome, Dixon.
He's just got a text that his wife Jennifer said, hurry up, the dinner is on the table. The kids crying right now. They wait for you. Hurry up. He said, "What? I'm stuck at the lights right now. What I can do right now? I cannot go nowhere." Rodwin King is in the house, Mr. Nortap.
How's it going, Ron?
The deal, the no deal, but the real deal is in the house, Mr. Nortap. The Buffalo Sabres is in the house.
Hey, real.
Albert Jacka, it was his birthday yesterday, 22 years old. A great video of his mom about Jacka. He's going to buy a new car the next couple of days, what we heard yesterday about him. And then Andrew was born in
I
St.
thought he
John.
did already.
St. John about this one. Das Montreal won tonight, but he played with the blue jersey, Mr. ENORTAP. So
I think they're doing that on purpose.
So I just want to mention this. The captain of the moderator, the captain T, Mr. DANY.
Hey, Danny.
He's in the house.
So this now means Danny has to stay in jail a little bit longer.
Yeah, that's the good news about this one with that. The good news is going to be removed Wednesday, worst case, tomorrow, because we clean up for the next 4 days after that, Mr. ENORTAP, for the rest of the season. So we have to send those kind of the cleanup people, and will be interesting. You know, we have to be sure we get there anyway. We have no food when Danny leave the building over there. So he's going to have to refute everything over there. I like Terry Harper. Yeah, it was a good, Terry Harper was pretty good. Clean call the whole parts about this one over there for Finland. Maybe age 35, but I guess average player about 655. Hey, I bet Jonathan Power, you know, it was 11 ring bingo about this ministry and Halifax. Finally, Jet 1, so ENORTAP is happy if lose coach will trash the Jets again. You're absolutely right about this, Yamo. Whatever they win, it took them 3 goals in the last third period to beat a miserable team like the Sun with Blowsack. He may again most problem about that team for the future. Without moving, Yamo, that thing will be a very difficult time at the end of the year. But that's a subject for another time about this one.
You have little faith, Coach. You have little faith. Not only did they win, but an exact score. Like, come on.
I know. I just want to mention to you, I expect more for the Winnipeg Jets if they cannot go all the way without the team they have right now for the playoff.
Don't worry about Winnipeg.
Rick Bengal, Peter Maravlich is my favorite player. So Peter, Frank Maravlich. Peter, he was a guy really not talented, but more like he was talented, but he was not sure if he want to work hard or not. Sometimes it was a little bit difficult to follow him. What pay attention? Let's say we're not going to go there. We only know Mr. ENORTAP, the Winnipeg won yesterday 4-2 against the Blues. You know, I'm happy I did not use Bennington on my between the pipe for my fantasy. But so you should put Fante when he was winning for the shootout, and then we jinx him again, Mr. ENORTAP, about this. But we're going to go a little bit more friendly tonight, Mr. ENORTAP. We have fun option to talk about, and we're going to welcome Mr. William McClary is in the house.
Welcome, William.
First of all, the NHL news around the league. We are not much about transaction, injuries, anything like that. It's very calm right now. Everybody like already on vacation. Half of the team are on vacation. Maybe 3/4 of the team are on vacation. And then you have All-Star game. And then the other rest of the team are on vacation next week. Montreal Canadiens, after tonight, they only return February 11th. A back-to-back game anyway. Who won the trade? So yesterday I have a big trade. The first trade, major trade between the Vancouver Canucks and the New York Islanders. A lot of people, experts, get out of this. Who win sometime, you know, an expression. Some people will say, okay, the Vancouver got a single and the Islanders got a strikeout. So I would like to hear a little bit more about that transaction after you reevaluate everything, right? We have to look about more about what happening. So what do you think about that trade and Beau Horvat and again Beauvillier, Ratu, and then is the first round pick protected?
You know, Coach, to be honest with you, there's too many moving pieces here to give a proper assessment of who won this trade. And as a matter of fact, I did a lot of reading between last night and today, you know, on social media, some sports programs as well. And the opinions all over the map. And that's because of these moving variables. What do I mean by moving variables? Well, number one is he going to be signed long-term with the Islanders or not? That's a big consideration.
So let's move on that over there. Bo Horvat is running by New Sport Agency. New Sport Agency have 6 players with the New York Islanders.
So
you have a rule. You cannot talk to the players. You cannot talk with agent before you make a move, because he didn't have the rights for Vancouver Canucks to get that one there. So my point to you is just like, I would not be surprised he get an agreement with the New York Islanders.
Yeah, I agree. Question is Lou Lamoriello willing to put, and I don't see this getting done unless it's minimum $8 million, minimum, for 8 years. So is he willing to put that kind of money on the table for Bo Horvat? Because you know that if Bo Horvat hits the market as a free agent, he's going to get that money, no problem, and probably more by some other team. So that's one variable. The other variable that we can't really assess right now is Ratu, right? Like, he has a high ceiling, which definitely would help Vancouver down the road and would make them probably the winners in the trade. But we just don't know how that prospect will pan out at the end, right? These are the kind of things that, with prospects involved, you have to wait a number of years before you can properly assess it and say, this was a steal of a trade, or it was the worst thing that ever happened to this organization, etc. With Beauvillier, what you see is pretty much what you get. I don't believe he ever scored more than his best year. I think he scored 20 goals. He's good defensively. I like that. He's got size.
But think about this, Mr. Tap. 20 goal and Islanders under Barry Trotz. That's a very goal.
But that was 1 year he did it. The other years he's more like 12,
so,
14.
But he's not like, he's an offensive player, so he can open up more with the Vancouver Canucks. I would not be surprised he become a 25 goal in the Vancouver Canucks.
How many?
25.
25. Yeah, it's possible. Yeah, it also depends who he plays with. Does he get a lot of power play time, which may or may not happen. I don't know with Vancouver. Maybe second line power play, he gets more time there. So yeah, like I said, there's a lot of variables involved, so it's really difficult to assess it. If you're looking at it from the short-term perspective, I personally think the Islanders win this trade, because now you got somebody else that can play with Barzal. I think it improves their power play, which was really bad so far. It puts a little bit of life into the team, because it shows that Lamoriello is finally doing something rather than sitting and doing nothing, like they lost out with Gaudreau over the summer. He waited, and then he lost out. So he decided to get ahead of the game here and beat the other teams that were going to probably outbid him if it became a battle to get Bo Horvat at trade deadline time. So we'll see how it pans out. I think in the short term, it puts them in a very good position. Like, the Islanders are still, I know they haven't been playing that well lately, but they're still in a good position. They're at 55 points. They're only 2 points away from Pittsburgh and 3 points away from Washington. Now, they played, I think, 2 more games than both those two teams, or at least more than Pittsburgh. I think they're same number of games with Washington. So they're in a good position. I like it. I think their schedule eases up a little bit after this week. So it's definitely a plus for the Islanders. For Vancouver, I think it's good for them too, because I think they're trying to clear out some cap space. There's a lot of talk.
Not really, right now, because Beauvillier $4 million, but
he's making $4 million, is he? Oh wow! I thought he was making less than that.
Nope.
Okay, well, that's not good.
No.
But maybe Brock Besser gets dealt as well. There's talk that even Demko might be on the trade block. So that will help, and it also gives them, like I said, with Radu, it gives them an extra prospect to work with the younger players on the team, which aren't many.
Yeah. I'm going to talk about Vancouver a little bit later, but one thing you said very well. First of all, Williams said the same thing. Short-term Islanders winning that one. Islanders are 31 and they're standing on the power play at 15.5, I believe. Secondly, Ovat have 11 goals this year, and with an NHL on power play. The closest one for the Islanders is Pajot at 5. So when you talk about the increasing the level of power play and impact, both of us going to bring that impact. People, so you have to, they need a winger. You have any team in NHL, they cannot say we don't have enough center. That is a priority you can get. So you have that kind of the looks to get two center like Ovat, Basel, and then you have a face-off remove. But now you can have that Ovat over there. Secondly, and face-off power play, guys. Ovat is a 65.5 face-off over. So when you say, well, it's not matter. But when you're losing the face-off, the puck go back on the ice, and you're just losing 20-25 seconds on your first face-off.
Possession. It's possession.
So it's the little detail like that make a big. Thirdly, Pittsburgh, Washington, Buffalo, Detroit, Florida with this year, right? 5 teams fight with Islanders. Who has the best goaltender?
I think the Islanders do.
Exactly. So my point is, like, with all that, now the Islanders have better chance to make the playoffs like anybody else because they are the goaltender to go through that one over there. So I just want to share a little bit about that trait between the New York Islanders and the Vancouver Canucks. Pierre Martin is in the house, Mr. Tap. Vinny James, he's in the house. We have a couple of comments that knocked the door about this. Ratu is a solid player, could become a top 6. Remember, guys, 2 years ago. 2 years ago, Mr. Tap. Ratu, he was top 5 in the NHL draft. Top 5.
Yeah.
And then he fell apart at the World Junior Championship. And then after the following year, like Brett Lambert have a very bad year. And then they dropped him at 20. And then he got 52 at the draft. So really interesting about this. He's a player can a great development, could become a really solid player for Vancouver Canucks. Then Andrew Connor talk about this. $1.8 million for what 1.5 small. Vancouver get enough back in the return, and it changed under leadership when went for Andrew Connor. Like William, I just mentioned to you about this. Ren is surprised about Boston don't get him. And for me, it's for because they don't have Boston to give that kind of players in return. A player like Aubervilliers for me is Jay DeBrusque for the Boston Bruins. Like that's same the age, everything like that, same kind of money he make, everything like that. Then at Boston have to give them the first round pick. They don't want to do that. And thirdly, they have to give a prospect. And like Chad Lucius over there. So I think that would be not the right way to do that.
Yeah, I agree. It's a little bit more tougher for them to
Ratu could become similar to Lundell on the best case scenario, but for now, it's early to say that. Great comments about this. Mr. Roger Bouchard is in the house. Mr. Natap.
Hey,
our
Roger,
friend David Hunt. Welcome, David. You're absolutely right about this. What a great piano player. So you have a chance to watching his YouTube channel. I invite you to watch him. Really great. Yes, the Browns are really great to have a possibility to make it this year all the way to the end. About this one over there, we have a few people. Melissa knocked the door. Welcome aboard. Jake McCanoe is in the house. Don't forget, guys, to click on the likes if you don't mind. That'd be great. He was predicted first overall coach at some point. I think all that Arrival just push ahead of the Buzzle out at the possible playoff spot. It could happen that way over there. It could be Pittsburgh, Washington out of the playoff too at the same time. about this. So what happening about this? So the one big piece of the puzzle about is out. I want to mention to you, every chance, don't forget my app Daily News. Everybody at 11 o'clock Eastern Time. Last night I talked about, this morning I talked about Shannon complicate the app plan for the trade deadline. I don't want to get there. I think he have a bigger and a worse injury, Sean Monahan. ENORTAP and Eden Cave think they put him out to protect him for a trade. Me, I would say no, he's out because I think he's worse at what the people thinking he is. So the plan for the trade line is changing. I look about this. I make a video. Watch my video. You're going to hear my plan option B for the Montreal Canadiens. And you're going to listen this about this. We know Josh Anderson right now. The Devils watching the Montreal Canadiens a lot for the last 3-4 games. Josh Anderson is one of the names I mentioned. The Devils going to make a splash. Who is it? Timo Meier? Is it Tarasenko? Is it Josh Anderson? Will be interesting to follow that for sure. That opened the door without Monahan and Edmondson on the trade deadline. Montreal Canadiens could have $9.5 million, guys, on the salary cap at the trade deadline. Open up. So another trade like the Monahan's on the summer, it could be an option for the Montreal Canadiens. It could be very different. That's not including if they trade Drouin and that enough, they open more money. So they can get some kind of trade when Montreal could get a prospect or a pick and return and pick the money of 50% salary of Jonathan Tay for the rest of the year, or an example like that. Or they could maybe say, no, we want to have a first round pick, trade Josh Anderson, Jake Allen, or David Savard, or Jake Evans. Why not Klevorak? But Jake Evans is only at $1.7 million versus $4.5, same number of the year on the contract, the players. And you have not much difference between Klevorak and Jake Evans about the details of the game when you go in the playoff. So for me, I think the team will be a little bit more for Jake Evans. And I said they have to trade them. I don't say he will be traded, but I look about other options Montreal Canadiens could do on that direction for Mr. ENORTAP. So I just want to share it with you. Randy Walkman is in the house, and Luciano, Mr. ENORTAP, is in the house.
Hey, welcome, Luch. Yeah, now, one thing for sure, Coach, is if history has taught us anything, and I don't mean just with Montreal, but with the Rangers and Boston, Gorton and even Hughes, they think outside the box. So I would not be surprised if they have something up their sleeve. And we'll pursue it. And if they can't get something done now, you can rest assured they'll do it just before the draft during the summer, and that'll really speed up the process here in terms of Montreal's development. But yeah, you're right. Like somebody like Evans could easily help a team that just needs that role player that goes out there on the fourth line, wins some faceoffs, plays tough. Chases the puck, gets into dirty corners as well, and is gives it all he's got. Very much like Lehkonen did, and we saw the improvement even more so in his game. Like now, all of a sudden he leaves Montreal and he's scoring goals in Colorado. So a lot of it depends the team that you're on, the players you're playing with, and the environment that they put you in terms of succeeding.
You're absolutely right about this. I agree with you. So I did some other search. First of all, the Los Angeles Kings going to make a move, Mr. ENORTAP. They're still in the battle of Chikron and any other player. They're looking for a left defenseman. And I feel like if you look about the history of Rob Blake as a GM, but he does not like to trade at the trade deadline day. He does everything before that. 1 month, 3 weeks, 2 weeks. The closest day trade he did is 5 days prior to the trade deadline. And so before that is 9 days, is 2 weeks, and 3 weeks. So expect the Kings moving. The Chekron could be a guy what they could looking for. They need a L defenseman. They could be on the race for Damco as a goaltender, so they can send a Jonathan Quick and a second-round pick for Damco. And that would be an option for the Los Angeles Kings for sure. But expect to Blake, if they make a move, it'll be very soon for the Los Angeles Kings. I just want to share with you about this one over there. Vancouver, who is the next? We talk about Bowser. Garland now is on the conversation. Luke Shine possibly maybe not be great at Tampa Bay. Look like they are out of the race for Luke Shine. Whatever, they could be back. But look like, like Bruce Boudreau love Luke Shine. Rick Tocchet is the kind of prototype, the player they love Rick Tocchet to play for. They play for Tocchet, and Tocchet love those kind of players like this. So I explain maybe Shine. But the next player we talk about is Damko. He's going to be back. Possibly after the All-Star game. It will give him about 2-3 weeks before he show the rest is looking good. What do you see Damko if he's on the market?
You mean what destination? What team could possibly pick him up?
Yeah.
Well, there's a few teams out there, and you got to figure. I don't see somebody like Edmonton. I'll be honest with you. I think that they invested in Campbell, and they know they have Skinner if he's healthy as well. So they're going to live and die by that. I think they're going to more look towards a defenseman. But a team that just is resting on one goalie and is afraid that there could be an injury, kind of like last year with Saros in Nashville. They were very heavily dependent on him. He gets injured with about 2 games, or maybe even the last game of the season, and they don't have him in the playoffs. So a team like that, although Nashville probably won't make it, but a team like that is afraid that an injury could happen. We don't know the state of Jari in Pittsburgh, so maybe there could be a destination if he doesn't get healthy in time.
Where?
I'm thinking Jari in Pittsburgh, because he's playing injured. And so, they might be willing to take a gamble. Leafs,
of course, Jerry is a UFA anyway.
At the end of the year, yeah. The Leafs, I don't see that happening. Who else could use a goalie?
First we have Kings.
Buffalo. Yeah, the Los Angeles Kings, yeah.
The Kings, I will say to you the Buffalo Sabres, the Pittsburgh Penguins, and my last team I'm going to mention is the Columbus Blue Jackets.
Yeah, Columbus, yeah, probably. But I don't know how active, Columbus will be right now. If they do that, they'll do it
and the future. Think about this. They're going to get a Bedard, they're going to get Fantilli, whatever they get. And then you have those players they have already, plus the rookie, they have a lot of prospect. They don't have no goaltender. Corpusalo and Muskirkin is not good. They have one year contract anyway. I think Damko would fit very well over there.
Yeah.
Now, they can wait on Damko and wait for the summer, like Columbus.
That's right.
All right.
That's what I was trying to get at there.
Yeah. So that would be something they can go about this. I said Rand O'Reilly, guys, to the New York and to the Toronto Maple Leafs. People laugh at me. It's okay. But I'm still in the race. They are not trade yet, so I can be right. But I will mention another one. Pajot for the New York Islanders could be traded to the Carolina Hurricanes, Mr. ENORTAP.
Oh boy, I don't know if that moves the needle for Carolina.
If you look about Pajot, Mr. ENORTAP, when you watch him play, he looked like who? Rob Brind'Amour.
Really?
Yeah. Rob Brind'Amour loved Pajot.
Brind'Amour used to score, though.
And Pajot scored a lot of goals before he go in the system Islanders. Look about his record with Ottawa Senators.
You're right. Yeah, right? That's why they got him, right?
So, again, when you play with Montreal Canadiens, do you score a lot?
Not really.
When you go to the Islanders, do you score a lot?
Cole Caulfield.
Right? It's not happening a lot.
Yeah.
So my point to you is a prototype of player like they love in Carolina, Rob Brind'Amour. And I think it could be something could happen in the future between Pajot and the Carolina Hurricanes, Mr. ENORTAP. And yesterday, Mr. ENORTAP, remember, I think it's you talk about every team have, someone asked this question, I think it's you, about everybody have a template for the money, for the players to be there, everything like that, right? Look, the Carolina Hurricanes. Every player have a number. If you don't want this contract, you out. Doug Hamilton,
Yeah.
Vincent Trocek. Yeah, that's how he work. That's how he does the Carolina Hurricane. They still with a budget. They have
Yeah.
one player specific. Each player have a kind of money. They have a value associated with. And if you don't accept this, it's not a matter. Out and out. And that's what the
Yeah.
Carolina
And
Hurricane does, Mr.
we were
Naftat.
saying, we were saying Boston has always been in that same kind of mold. But what do you do this summer? Pasternak comes and says, "I want 10 million."
He's
What do you
opened
do?
the bank over there. Obviously, he will be the highest player for the Boston Bruins.
Then it sets your the wheels off the truck, the proverbial saying.
But they did already with
I
McIntyre,
don't know.
Mr. Naftat.
They did, yeah, they did a little bit, but I mean, this would be a little bit more shattering for Boston.
But he had no choice.
I know, but see, that's where the difference comes in. Like, remember last year we even talked about this. We brought up Carey Price way back when he was signed for $10 million, and we said, they had no choice. He's the best goalie in the league at
my
that time.
point is, before that, they can sit with the players like Tampa and say, look, we are right now on the window to win the Stanley Cup.
Yes.
We are right now, we have a good chance. So you can sign 1 million less, blah, 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 and you can get Boston next year, losing Bergeron, losing Krejcik, and those players. They cannot sell this Pasternak to tell him, hey, we're going to win the Stanley Cup for the next 3 years now. Look what we have here. It'll be harder.
Yeah.
So that would be, again, he maybe deserve $11 million. It would be a little bit lower, but expect him to be at $10 million minimum for Pasternak.
Yeah, I think so. That'll be the magic number I think it'll take to bring him back.
William asked a question, Mr. Tapp. Coach, do you think the Devil will make any move, Master, to the right what they have to test that young score? They will, William. They will.
They have to.
They have to, and they will too. Like the Buffalo Sabres are going to do something over there. If you talk about this, everybody talk about Timo Meilleur's, Mr. Tapp. If I'm a Buffalo Sabres right now, do you know who I trade?
I'm trying to think of their core here. I mean, you're thinking of somebody that's been with the organization for a while?
Player they want to get. They would like to be better for them to get.
Oh, for them to get.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I could see Timo Meier there. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, possible that we get one of them, but that would cost them a lot too to get him.
Money. Yeah.
And I think they have enough of power over there. If I'm them, Mr. Notap, I trade for Jacob Chikron.
It's the price tag. That's what I fear.
I
know they have the money. They have the money. They have the assets. Yeah,
they can trade the first round pick right now. You add one prospect, Peyton Krebs. You give them a goaltender to Arizona Coyotes, a Levi, a Lucanen, right? And that gives them a good start, and you get them a second round pick in return. So a first round pick, 2023, you give them Peyton Krebs, you give them a goaltender, Lucanen, and you give them a second round pick for Jacob Chikron.
I don't know. That's a big price tag still.
Not at all.
I still think it's a low.
Look, the best team in NHL, Tampa Bay. Look the defensive player they have. Hetman, Sergachev, Cernak, McDonough. Every great team have great defensemen, Mr. Notap. And that's what they have. They have Delin, they have Owen Power, they have Rasmussen, and now you get Chakron for the next 10 years. Bring it on, big friend. Bring it on. We have the top 3 best defensemen in NHL.
Absolutely. I always say you have to build up the middle and the defense. And
then Arizona, Mr. Top, get a lot, right? And now they have a goaltender looking in. Okay, now what do you do? They turn around, they trade Valmeka at the trade deadline, and now they get 2 other things, maybe 3 in return. And imagine this, because of Chekron and Valmeka, they maybe bring 6, 7, 8 assets and the future for the Arizona Coyotes. I could be GM in NHL. I don't know why they don't call me Mr. ENORTAP.
I know. Eh? Coach
But
has got
Mr.
it all
ENORTAP, we have to
solved.
move on. We have other subject, guys, we want to talk about. We're going to bring
Yeah.
this. Pay attention. We have no show tomorrow night for everybody to be sure you understand. Because Mr. ENORTAP won't take a couple of days off. Montreal Canadiens have preview game. Allen between the pipe, back 11, same roster. One more game before the All-Star game. I want to give you a quick, Mr. ENORTAP. You can do this 5 game in 15 minutes anyway. Orvat versus Suzuki. So I love to stats, me. I love to players. I have all kind of website you can go online, blah, blah, blah. So anyway, the last 3 years, Mr. ENORTAP, both of captain anyway. 145 points for Orvat, 140 points for Suzuki. The power play per point per power play, 48 versus 45 the last 3 years. Suzuki need to improve his face-up and the defensive zone coverage. This was the Israeli lack compared to Hoffman, Orvat. I didn't have no time, but I've been after that the first 4 years in NHL, both players. So when they start to play in NHL, both of them, Orvat is behind Suzuki by 6 points, but on the minus plus is an advantage, and on the face-off is an advantage for Orvat versus Suzuki. So I'll just give you an idea. Suzuki is really, right now, at 23 years old, people ask, oh, he's not good right now. He's not. The guy is still young. He's still on the development, Suzuki. Don't panic with him. He's going to be fine. He's going to be great. All that, it took him 27 years old to reach his full potential in NHL. My point, Suzuki is going to become a 30 scoring score in NHL about the next 3 years. That's it. I have nothing to be worried about. Suzuki is going to get 80 points per year. The only thing of that, he don't have a lot. He's more like a scorer, and Suzuki is more like a pass. He passed more the puck, he returned that. But overall, I just want to share it with you. Both of them is of that.
Very good. Very good comparison.
Here we go. So we are back here. We have no jail, no boss. It's clean this week. So far, so good. We'll take advantage of our vacation to get that way over there. So that first game of the night, we talk about the Los King versus the Carolina Hurricanes. We have a few people talking the jet. Here we go.
Yeah, so we're going to get here a great matchup. Two teams that are at or near the top of their divisions. As the Kings now are taking a trip over to the east, they take on Carolina tonight. Carolina actually has enjoyed home ice as they always do, really, but this year in particular, they're 16-5-2 at home. They're riding an overall win streak of 5 games heading into tonight. They're also allowing just 2.6 goals per game over the last 10 that they've played, while scoring 3.8 and putting up, I think it was just over 39 shots on net every single game on average. So these stats, they even look better when looking at the Kings, who are taken into perspective of looking at the Kings, because the Kings, who are 14 and 13 on the road, LA's in a strange situation where they're the only team that's currently in a playoff spot that their goals for and goals against differential is a negative number. I think they're at -9 last time I checked. And that means one of two things: that, either they're not as good as their record shows, and they're really actually involved in a lot of tight games that maybe they've been landing on the right side of it. And so that's something to keep your eyes on as we, get into the later games in the season, because not too many teams with a negative differential get into the playoffs or end up doing well once they're there. Their recent road numbers have not been very good. Last 10 games, they've allowed over 3 goals per game, and they're just scoring 2.7 goals per game. So my bet is with the Hurricanes tonight. The Kings are actually 0-6 the last 6 times that they've met. So I'm going to take Carolina to win this one by a score of 4-2.
I will predict your score, Mr. Notap.
There you go. Okay, who do we
I
have
feel
next?
comfortable now, Mr. Notap. Keep coming up. I'm going
Oof.
to win again tonight.
Yeah, we hope, but there's always a surprise every night, eh?
No. You said you're going to win, they win. That's the way.
Yes,
I have
they
that
win.
mentality of go all the way in.
Hey, I guaranteed last night's win. There you go.
Here we go.
um, Montreal and Ottawa. Here we go again, right? Let me start by saying the last 10 games these guys have played, Montreal is 3-7 against Ottawa. So that's not a very good record against the Senators, a team that I feel they should be playing much better hockey against. They've they're meeting for the second time in 4 days. The last time they played was that awful 5-0 game in Ottawa on Saturday. The Canadians currently are in the basement of the Atlantic. Ottawa's not that much further ahead of them, but Montreal's lost 4 out of their last 5 games. They're also in the bottom 5 in both goals for and goals against. It's safe to say that obviously Montreal right now, their bigger focus is on the development of the younger kids and trying to get them into game situations, which we're starting to see, especially with all the injuries that they've incurred. And tonight we're going to see, I believe, Allen against Forsberg as a repeat. So, the Senators, we've seen a little bit of more improvement lately. They some of their players are really stepping up and doing what they're supposed to be doing, obviously. So I'm going to go with the Senators to win this game by a score of 4-3. I think it'll be a lot closer than that 5-0 game.
Good, Mr. Notap. 4-3, 4-3. I like when you
Okay.
follow me, Mr. Notap. I feel so much better. By the way, there was another guy, 31 in NHL. 5 versus 5. 37
right.
goal. Montreal 92. On power play, 5 of them have a point average per game percentage over 40. Over 40. 5 of them. What the reason behind that, guy, I will say to you, is usually an average of 28 to 32 in the NHL on the data analytics. 5 of them are over 40, and 2 of them are at 50%. Giroux, Tkachuk, we have Patterson, Shabbat, and DeBrincat, Mr. Notap.
Exactly.
That's the reason why they at Mr. Notap at 500. They cannot score a 5 versus 5.
Well, that's the biggest problem, yeah.
That's the one.
There's other problems,
you know.
but you're right. That's probably the biggest reason.
Yep.
Next game we have Washington Columbus. It's the Capitals that are traveling to Columbus to take on the Blue Jackets. This is their third meeting of the season. Washington won the previous 2 meetings that they've engaged in. Columbus is one of the worst defensive teams in the league, and it's going to be really a challenge for them to try to slow down Ovechkin and company. They did have a slightly, I'll classify it as a successful road trip out west, but it was largely due to their stellar play of Korpisalo, who, by the way, will not be playing. Actually, I believe
Scorpisalo
Korpisalo,
versus Lindgren.
Lindgren, right? Which is not as good. Although Lindgren's done well this year, so it shouldn't be a problem for Washington. The Blue Jackets, they're 3-6-1 in their last 10 games, but it could have been a lot worse because some of the games it took them overtime to win. Washington, even though they haven't fared well in the last 10 games, they've gone 4-6. They want to head into the All-Star break on a positive note. As we said before, right now I think they're sitting in the first wild card position. But the problem is they've played 52 games, and other teams have games in hand. So when you're given this kind of an opportunity against a team, especially that hasn't been playing well on the road, you have to get these points. And I think they'll have that in mind. The Capitals, they're 0-4 in their last four when their opponents scored 2 or less in the previous game. And this is one of those situations. When you look at the last 10 games that they played each other, surprisingly, there wasn't that much of a difference. Washington is 6-4 in the last 10 games. So I think Washington will still take this game, and I'm going to go with a score of 4-2.
4-2, Mr. ENORTAP. For Washington, I go 5-2, Mr. ENORTAP, for my goal. And then I want to mention to you one player we don't talk about. The Washington Capitals does not play. And we talk about Tom Wilson hurt and Backstrom. It's Connor Brown, Mr. ENORTAP.
Yeah, Connor Brown. I really had high hopes for Connor going into this year, and I mean he did so well in Ottawa. Even when he was with Toronto, he did really well. I know him personally because I've had the opportunity to actually teach the guy. So, and he played on my baseball team a number of years ago. And this kid he's amazing. He just has to stay away from injuries, and that's not always an easy thing to do.
We want to welcome Willie Snyder is in the house. We have two games to talk about, Mr. ENORTAP.
Yeah.
The Boston Bruins tomorrow against Toronto Maple Leafs. If Blaine Potvin is not coming, look like he won't, I will do that game live, Mr. ENORTAP, Toronto and the Boston. And then Thursday night, we're going to talk about the Montreal Canadiens. So that will be, and then Blaine will be next week with us, Mr. ENORTAP. So just quickly give us your score or whatever you have.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not going to get too much in depth here, but this is a crucial game. It's one of those litmus test games where you want to send a message out, very similar to what we saw with Boston and Tampa Bay last week, and it was an intense game, playoff atmosphere, and I think this will be the case as well. Like the last 10 games these guys have played. Toronto is 5-5 against them, so there's not much really to pick between the two, except for the fact that obviously Matthews is gone for a period of time, so that definitely hurts their chances. And there's all this confusion now between Murray and Samsonov.
Murray is hurt, Mr. ENORTAP.
He's hurt, but
he's hurt. That's the reason does not play. It's Samsonov because Murray is hurt.
I don't know, Coach. They said he was going to play against Ottawa, and they didn't make him play. So I don't know. If he's hurt, that bodes even worse for the Leafs. I think. I'm going to go with the Bruins on the road here. I'm going to go with a score of 4-3.
I told you. Look, it's right there, Mr.
You put it up already.
I predict.
You don't need me, Coach.
I can read you.
I'm going home.
My prediction would be so much better if I predict only your score. I think I will be an average 7.5.
I don't think you need me, Coach.
I can read your mind, Mr. ENORTAP. Be careful.
Yeah. The last one, all I'm going to say, last 10 games, Carolina is 9-1 against Buffalo. And this will be a very, very tough matchup here. But you know what? Buffalo is at home. I think they're eager. They can see a playoff spot in their vision. They're only 1 point out from Pittsburgh. And I'm going to take the road team here as an upset.
Back-to-back game, of course.
Win. It's back-to-back for Carolina as well because they play tonight as well. So I'm going to take Buffalo to win by a score of 3-2.
3-2. 4-3, 4-2 for you for that. I'll go with 4-3, Mr. Buffalo, for Buffalo.
Okay.
It's going to be Luukkonen versus Ranta, Mr. ENORTAP.
Let me see here.
That's confirmed.
Yeah. No, Ranta and Luukkonen. Yeah. So you're going to start Luukkonen in your fantasy?
Maybe not. Right now, I'm late.
No
0.3 to 0.1, Mr. Tap. So I'm winning.
Uh-huh. I would play him. Come on.
Imagine if I put him yesterday, Bennington, I'm -3. But that's a subject for another time. Wow, what a great show, Mr. Tap. We nicked tonight the warm-up show. So what happening, guys? We're going to take a couple of days off for the warm-up show. We're all to be back next Monday. Next week, and I'm going to give you the leaderboard, everything like that. Don't forget to send us your email for the result of the game tonight and the tomorrow night. Together or separate, it's not a big deal. Then we wish you an amazing, great All-Star games on the weekend. What do you do, Coach? No, I don't do the game of the All-Star game. Possibly I do the competition Friday night, but otherwise, I'm going to go to Cologne, Mr. ENORTAP. I'm going to on the island, hiding over there, and prepare my next channel. For the month,
get a good massage,
month. I celebrate my month number 6 of February 23rd, Mr. ENORTAP.
Congratulations, Coach.
Amazing how the past, the life is so fast. Like, 6 months already. I imagine we're just talking about maybe I will go to Thailand, and now we're already in Thailand. And I got my visa last week, so I'm excited about this. And I'll go from there. But great job, Mr. ENORTAP, like you do. We wish good luck, everybody. Yes, we'll be back in next short 5-10 minutes to do the game Montreal Canadiens versus of course, the Ottawa Senators. And before we leave, we want to remind, of course, to Mr. ENORTAP, because he's the GOAT of the prediction.
You are awesome. You are amazing.
Over there.
You are the best. And remember, you have greatness inside of you.
You are the GOAT of the prediction, and Mr. Danny is the GOAT of the Mandarin, Mr. ENORTAP. Until the next time, be well, find a way not only dominate your day, find a way to dominate the first half of what, Mr. ENORTAP?
Your Mandarin. Oh, sorry, your 2023.
Here we go. You got the shrimp in your mouth, Mr. ENORTAP. That's the problem you got at that moment. Have an amazing, great night, Mr. ENORTAP.
Good night, guys. Good night, Coach.